I'm Alan Smith and welcome to the show. Who doesn't love plants that are easy to care for? I certainly do. And if they're stylish, well, that's just icing on the cake. I'm talking about succulents here, like this agave. So you may be asking yourself, just exactly what is a succulent? To learn a little more about this wide and fascinating group of plants, why don't we do a little Succulent 101? Now I mentioned they were a wide range of plants, and take a look at this tiny little collection that I have here at Moss Mountain Farm. This is just a tip of the iceberg of what you can find in the way of succulents. What's great about them is that they're virtually indestructible. This is one of the reasons they're so popular, particularly with beginning gardeners. Loosely defined as those that have cells that hold water. They retain it so they don't require as much water, therefore not as much care. Adapted to arid climates and soil conditions, succulents can handle the cold as well as the heat. And although most prefer direct light, they can adapt to lower light as well. It's easy to increase succulents. They often can be rooted from a single leaf or even a piece of a leaf. They're quite amazing that way. Simply stick them into some sandy potting soil with just a little bit of water and minimal care. Over time, they'll grow into full mature plants. And if I haven't said enough good things about succulents already, one of the things that I love about them is that they're really resistant to pests. The oftentimes thick, waxy leaves are difficult for pests to penetrate and feed through, so you don't have to spray them with nasty chemicals. Because of their popularity, you can find succulents just about anywhere plants are sold. And the great thing is they're relatively inexpensive, so there's no reason not to put together your own wacky little collection of them. They're a lot of fun. Still to come on Garden Style, we take a little planting excursion. And later on the show, an easy-to-make succulent display. Because of their diversity, their uniqueness, their ease of care, the popularity of succulents has exploded over the last few years. So much so that there are businesses that have sprung up, such as the Electric Ghost in Little Rock, that have dedicated plant labs where you can come in and get creative with succulents and come up with something really unique for your home.
I'm Shannon Tipton, and this is Electric Ghost Screen Printing. We actually started 8 years ago as just a screen printing company. My mother has a green thumb, and so did her mom, so since I was a little girl, we had a house full of plants. I love succulents, and I think it's a way for all the people that come in and they say, I like plants, but I kill them, and I'm horrible with plants. And succulents are easy because it's a way to, you get that plant and it's greenery or purple or pinks. They have all these variations of colors and they don't take a lot of water. You can water them, kind of forget them. For a month even sometimes, let the soil completely dry out and they, they still look great. So it's kind of the perfect plant for someone with a brown thumb, It's a fun way for people to get an intro into plants, which we like. This is where our customers can come in and they choose their container and they pick out some plants. We make it easy for customers to plant them here and they get to leave with whatever they've made. This is a ceramic container and it's got a drainage hole in it, which helps. It's made locally, which we like to use. So I'm going to start with this. Pull my soil out here. Our soil is custom mixed. The main thing is to have a well-draining soil. So for ours, we take a core, which is a coconut fiber, perlite, which kind of adds air pockets and helps with drainage, and then we add something called turf-face, which is actually this here. It's kind of like a clay. When you mix them all together, it just lets your water drain really well out of the container. So this is called a jade plant, and it's a really popular succulent. It's kind of got these waxy leaves, which help a lot because whenever it's thirsty and needs to be watered, they kind of wrinkle. So it tells you when you need to water it. And that's a great starter plant for people that maybe are a little uncomfortable at first. So I'll start with this. I kind of break this root ball up a little bit, make it a little easier to work with in my container. Loosen them all up on the bottom. So I kind of get that loose in there. And just set it down, kind of arrange it however you want there. We make a lot of messes here. This one is a type of Echeveria, which is the rosette shape. The more sun that you give these, the more compact they grow down. And the fun thing about Echeverias is that you can see in this dish over here, I keep all of the leaves that fall off. You can take these and when they fall off and just set them down on the soil, and after a couple weeks you'll get these pink roots that shoot out of them and it'll grow a whole new plant. We've got some different kinds of rocks to put on the top, which I like because it keeps the leaves dry on the bottom and adds a really nice decorative look to it as well. With the white containers, I like to do the black lava rock for the contrast. Having plants is a way to bring an element of design in, and we help them. We kind of teach them, here's how you take care of your plant, here's how you water it, here's how much sunlight it needs. Succulents are definitely a trend, and we hope that it's one that sticks around for a while. People love coming in and getting their hands dirty. I usually ask the question like, do you want to do this? How are you feeling today? Do you want to do this, or do you want me to? Or a lot of people are a little scared at first, but then by the end of it, they're hands in the dirt and mixing things around, and they love it.
Want to create a low maintenance and eye-catching planter? Let me show you how after the break. Do you want to create a low maintenance and stylish looking container? Let me show you how. Say, oh no, well I don't have a green thumb. Well, anyone can grow succulents in a container like this. So what I've done is I've taken a potting soil that is designed for containers. Now I've filled this with soil up to within about an inch here of the top rim. There's a little bit of moisture in the soil. You can see it's not dry. If it's powder dry, you want to make sure you add moisture. And now it's just a matter of selecting some of these wonderful succulents, and there's so many to choose from. We're going to use 3 today. I'm going to use a sedum, and that's going to be the center point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear into the roots here a little bit and break it up, just like that. What I love is this beautiful gray foliage with just touches of red. You can see that has this beautiful burgundy striping, looks like a leopard print. Now I'm going to add a few of these Echeverias, or hens and chicks. Just gently work the soil in around them. I've got a few of the smaller ones over here. There's just a slight variation in the way these leaves form, which makes it interesting. So I'm going to pull another one right in here. Now if you'll notice, we've got a few of them that have sort of some pink coloration to them. So I'm going to add those because that carries out this kind of burgundy theme that we have going here. These are as easy to grow as just popping them in the container and pulling a little soil around them. I'm going to add just a few here in the back and one more of these beautiful gray colored ones, and I think we're set. Now that I have all my plants in place, it's a matter of top dressing, if you will, the soil. I don't like to see the bare soil, so I use gravel. Now you can use any kind of mulch you like. In this case, using this sort of caramel colored gravel. And you may break a few limbs off as you go along, but if you do, that's okay, because what's fantastic about these succulents is often you'll see a little baby plant emerge right at the point where it breaks off, so you can stick that in the soil and you'll get another succulent. Now it's just a matter of cleaning up this beautiful container and finding a home for it. What I love about this particular container is the color resonates and harmonizes so well with this selection of succulents. Now for them to flourish, they prefer full sun or at least half-day sun. When it comes to watering, you don't need much water at all. Very little care. So you can go on that trip and not worry about your babies. Hey, look at these succulents. Aren't they adorable? I just love these little guys. How about a way to display them as a wall hanging?
Tu me rappelles ma mère, tu me rappelles le frère que je n'ai jamais eu, tu me rappelles ce que je n'ai jamais su.
Still to come, floral design expert Jay Schwanke stops by to show us the versatility of the succulent.
So let's create a little succulent arrangement that can also double as a planter. Because our succulents have been cut off and we're going to use them in this, I've placed some wet flower foam down inside. They'll actually be able to root into this planter, right into the foam. And then we can add different accents that go with them. We'll start by preparing them. So on the back, you see that these have been cut off. If we have any dead or bad-looking leaves, we'll peel those off. And then I'm just going to use a skewer and I'm going to insert it right into the center of that succulent. It'll act like a stem when we arrange it in here. So we'll do that with all of these. So now, we'll use those just like we would flowers in our arrangement. We have our soaked foam. I'm going to bevel the edge of the foam just to make it more round for the container. So I'm cutting off the edge. Then we'll just use some fresh moss and lay it over the top so that conceals our water supply down inside. I'm going to add my accent flowers first, and we'll add these as topping at the end. So I have a couple of ornamental kale. Although we might think of them as being a summer type plant, in the colder temperatures, you'll notice that kale and even our succulents have a more intense color. Add a few of the green trick dianthus. Almost looks like fresh moss growing in a little bundle. So this provides our base, and now we'll add our succulents. Trim the stick, and then we can stick that stick down into the foam and nestle them right in place. Bring some over to the edge. That stick allows us to place them exactly where we want them to go. Grouping two together really gives us great impact with that color. So sometimes I'll keep those light colors together. I also like the opportunity of layering them. So we'll put this one in close to the other one. So they're almost stacking on top of each other. It's the same way you might see them out in a planter outside. These are scabiosa pods, and they'll dry wonderfully. So we'll just use those as a little textural accent. The greatest part about this is the textures that we have combined together. And our little succulents are going to send down their little roots and root right in here. We can replace other pieces, and we're going to have something that'll last the entire season.
The jade was once thought to bring good luck to its owner. We'll show you how to increase your dividends with this popular succulent. This is a great little plant to have around. If you think you can't grow house plants, you got to try a jade plant. Jade is actually a succulent, and you can tell by these really thick leaves that it has, really beautiful glossy leaves. It's one of the great characteristics of this plant. Now, one of the things that's important to recognize about jade is that you can overwater it very easily. You see, you only want to water it in the growing season about every 10 to 20 days, and you just want to make sure that the soil is moistened, and you don't want it to sit in water. What I've noticed here with mine is you can see that it's already producing some of these little aerial roots. You can see here, they're coming out. And that tells me that I could actually start some new jade plants, and it's really easy to propagate these. And let me show you how. So I'm going to take 1 part just potting soil. This has a lot of humus in it, mainly in the form of peat moss. And the white in this is perlite. And it's there to help with really good drainage. And I'm going to mix this to 1 part sand, okay? And I'm going to get that all worked in together. The sand is slightly moist, so it's adding some moisture to the potting soil. When I get all this blended together, I've got really what I want. You can see that that's very sandy soil. There's no chance of these little young plants sitting in too much water as long as I don't keep the saucer filled with water. All right, so then I'm going to take this container. I'm just going to fill it with some of this sandy soil like this. And then I'm going to step over here and clip off a piece of this jade plant. And I'm going to take it right above a leaf node or a segment where the leaves come out. And you'll notice on the plant that the leaves are 1 across from each other. So I'm just cutting it just above that point. So I've got this stem, and I'm just going to take off these little side leaves like this. Because what I want is a long piece of stem, just like that. You can see those little roots coming off the end. And really, then all I have to do is take it, push my finger in the soil, and push that stem all the way in like this. And get it all nestled in. And then I'm just going to add just a little bit of water, so I can get off to a good start. And that's really all there is to it. And it'll be amazing how fast this will grow. I can also take these leaves and fill up these little containers like this, these little tiny pots, which I think are really cute. And I can take these leaves and actually place those leaves in the soil like that, and you'll get a tiny little plant that'll emerge from the base of the leaf. This plant is so cool, and I recommend if you don't have one, you get one. It's going to become almost a household pet. Want to learn more? Visit PAllenSmith.com for delicious recipes, garden tips, blog posts, and our online store. We've seen in today's show how diverse succulents can be and how you can use them in so many ways. For instance, I love setting the table with them. They're the easiest arrangement you can put together, and they last a long time. Hope you picked up some ideas that you can apply in your own life. Until next time, I'm Alan Smith.